Alrighty, today we're doing day 16. Let's go. Okay. I had to re-record so many times. All in the bushes, his inability to leave the room or just repeat local for 5 seconds is ultimately what built up the endeavor for both. Yet they managed to mend their broken friendship, which he usually can't say for many former musical partners. Uncle and Joe, his last completely broken and paralyzed, he arrived in the vigilante asylum and broke Black Swanson. So the next year got a running of the Bulls events, I mean, and they had just enough to drink to see this as a good idea. As we have shot over that profile, buy the tickets and respect. Over King Township. Horse kind of a dead race. Boom, you denying yourselves the pleasure of convincing him to wear a bright red shirt and see what happens. But he ends up finding out anyway, which means like a little brother, you guys are kind of forced to bring him on. Come on, I ain't be dead, it's never helped. I'm clever with you. Alright, but only if you keep the hat on. The only thing Bulls universally hate more than the color red is Chef Boy on me. And surprisingly, everything seems to be going well, even for Joe. But Joe eventually falls victim to the one thing that'll get us all one day. Littering. You think throwing that Snickers wrapper on the ground is fine? It won't seem like the one night you wake up to that wrapper holding a pipe to your throat. And one trampoline filming later, Joe realizes that when it comes to paralysis, he ain't seen nothing yet. The can't be. Oh my gosh. So guys, he's now basically living that action movie Novocaine, only it's way less cool and way more sad. Swanson has lost all of the fire around the front cave. Most of it disgusting. He's keeping rest assured that he's surrounded by people who love him and who and Bobby's acting out. So I'm ready to I don't think Joe signed up for an 8-year pregnancy either, but we played cards like Deltas. Now, hopefully life weren't the worst dealer imaginable. Look, guys, I don't want to be a bird anyway. Go ahead and live your lives. I'll be fine. But that's not what true friends do. True friends kind of half-heartedly try for a few minutes first before ultimately just giving up. That's why I looked at it. We preserved the place for him to stay home for dental and things. So either the guys decide to just dump Joe on there, or even with a few touching words. But Brad, you're quite fantastic. And wasn't it? I was smoking. Look, if you can't appreciate the 90s firefighting classic, then maybe Joe's better off about it. But it takes him stolen from Lois that I would his Peter that what he did was wrong. Well, yeah, Joe is completely paralyzed and unable to take care of himself. But you ever considered how significant his neighbor? Guys thankfully go get him, apologize and grown enough so quickly. I'm really sorry. Yeah, we just kind of got overwhelmed and all break down. Yeah, I'm not sure if Joe can fully relate to them going through a big change in their life. So they decided to call Dr. Hartman and get Joe released. It looks like Peter must have found out Joe. Wait, that's not how that works. Dr. Hartman must have dropped his phone. Joe was on there his fly. If he told me Hartman was able how to perform back surgery while he was performing the surgery, that would be the least surprising thing I've heard in my life. So just wanted to be back at with. Well, you know what? So this moment is slightly lower on the list because Peter wasn't alone in Joe's mistreatment. By Byron Cleveland are also guilty. Don't even get me started on Bonnie. I guess she just takes him down. Joe really needs to sit up for himself more. And when Peter used his hobby of sitting in front of the TV to change television shows, he ended up ruining it for everyone else and ratings staff. So the Griffins receive a letter with some exciting news for the family. Oh, no surprise there. I think the TV is the most used appliance in my house. It's their teacher, their preacher, and in some cases, their mother. It sounds like they want us to be part of a celebrity that helps determine what's on TV. Say goodbye, violence, movies, and sex on TV. Your old-fashioned audience, your day has finally come. This new slot will keep track of everything you want, which helps us generalize the viewing habits of millions of Americans. Look, if the Griffins are portrayed as a reflection of the average American family, we might already be doomed. Just hit the reset button and let's try again in a couple million years. So, what are we gonna watch? One show. It might have been watching a sweaty stool channel instead. But Peter decides to use his newfound power to make some worthwhile changes. Is there anything which would like to do is more appealing to you? Maybe. If you could believe the podcast. He must have seen where we were headed with a mustache and village friend and wanted to put a stop to it. But it turns out that not everybody has the same ideas for mainstream television. Oh, what the hell? What's going on with the news? This is terrible. This is must man. Worse, it's mustache. I'm surprised by my little body for him. The Gilson family. Seems like you should maybe be a little more thoughtful with your choice. Joe, that would suggest that Peter has any thoughts to give. Seems to me like he's just firing from the hip. Shoot first, ask questions never. But at least with level 1 Nielsen box, Peter only has the power to affect local shows. We no longer 1 Nielsen baby. We are on night frame. 1.64,000. I think that's the slogan for the Xbox Series S. That monstrosity was like you drop out on somebody's head and it turns authority. But with all this sway in television, Peter starts to make changes to beloved shows like Madden. Well, more time for lifesavers means less time for 70 happy about that. But to be expected, appealing to an audience of 1 is only going to make the rest of the audience angry. So these are the dangers of focusing too much on feedback. Please let us know in the comments how we should feel about that. I'm sorry, were they protesting Peter's bad ideas? Because that sounds like must-see television. But all of Peter's changes have more or less made him an outcast in town. Thanks to you, TV's a vast wasteland. Now I know that phrase. I read it up your monster. Yeah, the only reading we're doing is with the subtitles. I can't believe there are people out there just raw-dogging TV without them. So to make things right, Peter gathers all the most brilliant minds in television to make everything go back to the way it was. And who's gonna make a show about horrible new dirty prints? You know what? I'll take it. Someone do it. Way ahead of me, Peter. I've got Daniel Day-Lewis on the line. This might finally be his role at post-modern retirement. And with that, Peter's pals finally write him again. I'm sure this will not want you paper shows. That's okay. So while this wasn't just a targeted events of his friends, they were from the crossfire on television guy. Peter should have known better. Only Steve Buscemi can do that. And Peter should have known better than to take Joe's classic car. This ended up totally in Boy's best friend. So Joe's recently had possession of a nice vintage car. I had already passed away last week, but your vintage sports car. Sure, that's amazing if you're uncle. Sounds like somebody's got to work on not saying the quiet part out loud. Sure, Joe wouldn't have this car, but his uncle hadn't died, so in a roundabout way, he'll say it's awesome, but you shouldn't say. You're all for everything I need to get work by garage is what makes me think from style biker. Significantly less cool, but now they can finally see how to make Coca-Cola the old-fashioned way. We were wondering if you'd take us for a spinning, time. Yeah, that's a great idea, Alvin. But for Joe, a drive in this car is just turning the wheel and making engine noises. Doesn't he know the guys need to be way more drunk to find this fun? Well, ever since I was 9, I've trained to drive or something, but not allowed, so I have this will. Well, I don't know why your uncle wanted to I need will, but I doubt it's going to do anything if you're to take it out for a little spin. But if Joe won't do it, somebody else is... But he should definitely take it out without telling Joe. It's like there's no choice. So the guys decided to do a little Grand Theft Auto with the old car. Grandfather Theft Auto? Is that anything?